Is residential real estate a good inflation hedge in Orange County, California? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how home prices performed during some of the highest inflation years we've experienced in recent history, and you'll see that home prices typically do very well during these periods. I'm Tim Hamilton with StellarQuest Real Estate. If you enjoy watching this video, I would really appreciate it if you would like it, and also subscribe if you like to stay up to date on the housing market. Many people have either experienced or heard of the high inflation years we had during the 1970s and early 1980s. What happened during this period of time is actually better referred to as stagflation as opposed to inflation, because stagflation is when you have rapidly rising prices mixed with low or no economic growth. If you look at this graph, we're tracking the CPI and percentage increase in the median home price in Orange County from 1973 to 1983. For those of you who don't know, the CPI is the Consumer Price Index, and this tracks the percentage increase or decrease in prices nationwide. You can see over these years that we consistently had a very strong level of home price appreciation in Orange County, and most years homes were appreciating faster than the Consumer Price Index. We had the highest year-over-year price growth in recent history in 1977, where home prices appreciated by 27.5%. There were also two other years where prices appreciated over 20%, and you can see there was only 1 year during this decade where prices increased less than 10%, which was in 1982. We had a price growth of 1.8%. So during this decade, we consistently appreciated faster than the average appreciation in Orange County since 1971, which is 7.7%. Now we're going to look at the late 1980s and early 1990s, which was a period where we saw the CPI numbers start to grow again, but they never got nearly as high as they did during the 70s and early 1980s. Between 1987 and 1990, we had CPI numbers that were growing up to just over 5%, and during those years we had very strong home price appreciation. In 87, prices grew by 13.3%. In 88, we saw 27.1% growth, which is the second highest year-over-year price growth since 1971. In 89, we had price growth of 17.9%. And then in 1990, when the CPI number peaked for this time period, we saw price growth of 3.7%. Then you can see in 1991, when the CPI numbers actually started to decrease again, we saw a decrease in home values during that year. What we're looking at here is a graph I made that compares the Consumer Price Index to the yearly percentage price growth in Orange County. The red line is the CPI number, and it's measured on the left axis, and the blue line is the yearly percentage price growth number of the median home price in Orange County, and it is measured on the right axis. You can see that the relationship isn't perfect, but typically during years of rising or high CPI numbers, we also typically had a very high level of home price appreciation in Orange County. I also wanted to point out that home price growth isn't dependent on inflation. You can see during 1998 to 2005, we had many years of very high price growth, but at the same time, the CPI numbers were fairly low compared to some of the high inflation years we saw previously. And finally, looking at 2021, you can see that we had a very high percent increase in the median home price. But unfortunately, the CPI numbers hadn't been released yet, but we do know that we had high inflation in 2021, where we saw some of the highest year-over-year CPI numbers since the 70s. I wanted to let you guys know that I got all of the CPI numbers from the St. Louis Federal Reserve website, and the median home price numbers came from a variety of sources that we've been personally tracking going back to 1971. So if you'd like to look at any of that data in its entirety, just let me know and I'm happy to send it to you. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Orange County and you're wondering if this is a good time for you to make it happen, please feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. You can find all of my contact information in the description below, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions and help you develop a plan.